chosen ones, hear me now. Breathe deeply, for what I am about to impart to you is not merely important, it is urgent. If you are reading these words, if you are watching this moment unfold before you, understand this. There are no coincidences in the kingdom of God. You have been divinely led here because something deep within your spirit is stirring, calling you to listen, calling you to awaken. God is waiting. This is not just a passing thought, a fleeting whisper. This is your moment to respond, but be warned. This is not an ordinary message. This is the final step, the pivotal moment that will define everything that comes after. You may not realize it yet, but something powerful is unfolding in your life right now. The winds of change are blowing and you feel it, the stirring within your soul, the subtle shift in the atmosphere, the divine pressure that urges you forward, the prayers you've whispered in the quiet, the dreams you've dared to hope for, the suffering you've endured. They are no longer distant hopes. They are drawing near. But here's what no one tells you. This shift requires more than passive waiting. It demands action. A moment is coming and you stand at its precipice. A moment when hesitation will no longer be an option. That moment is now. And if you do not step into alignment with what God is revealing to you in this season, hear me clearly. You may not survive what is coming. This is not just about adjusting your mindset or making small changes to your life. This is about spiritual life and death. The forces at work in this hour are not gentle. The battle between light and darkness is intensifying, and you, yes, you have been chosen as a warrior in God's plan. But remember, a warrior who refuses to move when called is a warrior who falls. Before we move forward, there are 3 actions you must take now. Urgently, decisively. First, like this video, do not do it casually, but as an act of agreement with the message you are receiving. Second, subscribe. This is no ordinary channel. It is a divine assignment. Together we are rising as 100,000 chosen ones, standing in unity, ready for the battle ahead. Third, leave a comment with the number 777. This is more than just a number. It is a divine signal, a declaration that you are awake, aware, and prepared to step into your calling. To those who have supported this mission through your generosity, may God bless you abundantly. Your gift is seen, it is felt, and God will multiply what you have sown in ways that will surpass your understanding. Something is shifting right now. The final step is before you, but only you can take it. The question is, will you rise or will you turn back when you are closer to your breakthrough than ever before? Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. God's chosen ones, listen closely. Do it or die. God is waiting. This is the final step. This is the moment everything has been building toward. The trials, the lessons, the hardships. God has been preparing you for this precise time, refining you like gold in the fire. Now is the moment when your faith will be tested in ways you never imagined. You stand at a crossroads, and the path you choose now will determine everything that follows. Will you step boldly into the calling that God has placed on your life, or will you allow fear and hesitation to paralyze you? Consider this. How many times has God spoken to your spirit, nudging you forward, whispering, "It's time"? This is not just another opportunity, it is the defining moment, the point of no return. In the Bible, Abraham faced this same moment. In Genesis 12, 1-4, God commanded him to leave everything he knew to step into the unknown. Abraham had no roadmap, no guarantees, just the voice of God and a promise of something greater. Had he hesitated, had he allowed fear to control him, would he have become the father of many nations? The same question stands before you now. Will you trust that what God has planned for you is far greater than anything you can see right now? The enemy knows the power of this moment, and he will do everything in his power to stop you. He will whisper lies of doubt, remind you of past failures, and try to bind you with fear. But what if the miracle you've been praying for is waiting just beyond this step? What if the only thing standing between you and your breakthrough is the courage to move forward? Consider David before he faced Goliath. In 1 Samuel 17:45-47, the giant seemed impossible to defeat, yet David did not let fear dictate his actions. He stepped forward in faith, knowing the victory belonged to the Lord. Are you willing to take that same step, trusting that God has already gone before you? Real-life examples of faith in action surround us. Look at Elon Musk, a visionary who risked everything to pursue what he believed. Whether or not you agree with his methods, his faith in his vision reshaped industries. Now imagine the power of faith placed in something far greater. God's plan for your life. The world may not understand your journey. People may doubt your calling. But when God is leading you, nothing can stand in your way. Will you rise, chosen one? Will you step boldly into the purpose that God has prepared for you? The time has come. Chosen one, God knows the depths of your heart. He knows your struggles, your pains, and the desires that you carry within you. But He also sees the magnificence waiting on the other side of your obedience. You are not being asked to walk in blind faith. No, God is asking you to trust. Trust based on everything He has already done for you. How many times has He made a way when there seemed to be none? How many battles has He already fought and won on your behalf? Now is your moment to prove that your faith is stronger than your fear. This is the moment that separates the faithful from the fearful. It's now or never. Will you take this final step, or will you let this divine opportunity slip away? God is waiting for your answer. Right now, heaven is watching you, waiting for you to decide. His hand is outstretched, ready to guide you into a season of abundance, growth, and divine favor. But understand this: God will never force you. He desires for you to step forward willingly, to trust Him even when the path ahead seems unclear. Will you take His hand, even if it means stepping into the unknown? Will you trust that His promises are greater than your pain, that His plans are bigger than your fears? Consider Moses, standing at the edge of the Red Sea in Exodus 14:13-16. The enemy was closing in behind him, and before him there was nothing but an impossible barrier. There seemed to be no way out, but God had already prepared the way. Moses just needed to take a step of faith and stretch out his staff. And when he did, the waters parted. Could it be that your breakthrough is waiting for you to act? Could it be that all God requires is for you to trust Him enough to move forward even when everything looks impossible? God has written a plan for your life, a plan far greater than anything you've ever imagined. His blueprint for your destiny is filled with purpose, power, and divine favor. But hear this truth: you must choose to step into it. He will not drag you into your calling. You must decide whether you will trust His timing and power or allow fear to convince you to settle for less. Look at Joshua. When he stood before the walls of Jericho, those walls were high and the gates were locked shut. From a human perspective, the battle seemed unwinnable. Joshua 6:1-5. But when Joshua followed God's command, even when it didn't make sense, those walls came crashing down. Your obstacles may seem overwhelming, but what if your obedience is the key to tearing them down? Consider Thomas Edison. Before becoming one of the greatest inventors of all time, he faced thousands of failed experiments. Most would have given up, but Edison understood that failure was part of the process. His relentless pursuit of invention led to the creation of the light bulb, something that changed the world forever. Now imagine the impact when faith is placed not in human ambition, but in the God who created the universe. How much greater will your testimony be when you trust in the One who holds all power? What if the struggles you've faced are not failures, but lessons meant to guide you toward your divine purpose? If you've been waiting for the perfect moment to act, let me remind you, God's timing is always perfect. The moment He calls you is the moment you are ready, whether or not you feel prepared. He is working behind the scenes, aligning everything for your breakthrough. But he is waiting for you to take that step. When Peter saw Jesus walking on the water, he had a choice: to stay in the boat where it was safe or to step out onto the waves, Matthew 14:28-31. The miracle didn't happen while Peter stood still. The miracle happened the moment he moved in faith. Is it possible that the very thing you've been praying over is waiting for you to take action? There is no more time for hesitation, no more time for second guessing. This is your divine moment, and God is calling you to rise up and act. Do not delay. Your time is now. Trust Him and take the step. Chosen one, hear this clearly. If you let fear convince you to stay where you are, you risk more than just missed opportunities. You risk staying trapped in a cycle of disappointment, regret, and unfulfilled purpose. You have waited long enough. The time is now. Everything you have endured, the challenges, the struggles, the heartaches, none of it was wasted. God has been using every trial to refine you, to equip you for what is next. But here is the truth. The next chapter of your life cannot begin unless you make a decision. You must turn the page. The enemy will try to convince you that you are not ready, that you are not worthy, that you will fail. But hear me clearly, that is a lie. God has already placed within you everything you need to succeed. The real question is, will you believe Him? If you choose to remain stuck, to let fear hold you back from stepping into your destiny, you are not just delaying your future. You are placing a barrier between yourself and what God has for you. He is calling you to trust Him completely, to surrender every doubt, and to step forward in faith. You already have everything you need. Now it's time to act. Trust in His promises, move forward, and watch how God opens doors that no man can shut. Your breakthrough is waiting. Will you take that step? But be aware, the enemy is actively working to prevent this truth from sinking into your heart. His greatest tactic is distraction. He wants to keep you entangled in doubt, worry, and confusion, so you hesitate instead of stepping forward in faith. He wants your mind cluttered with uncertainty, so you second-guess the very calling God has placed on you. But you must not allow yourself to be swayed. This moment is too important, and your destiny is too valuable to be derailed by fear or distraction. Think about Nehemiah. When he was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, his enemies, Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, did everything they could to distract him, to pull him away from his mission. They sent messages, stirred up opposition, and tried to instill fear in his heart. But Nehemiah refused to be moved. He said with unwavering focus, "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." Nehemiah 6:3. Can you adopt that same mindset today? Can you recognize that what God is doing in your life is too important for you to be distracted? The enemy will try to whisper lies, telling you that you are not ready, not strong enough, not worthy of your calling. But these are deceptions designed to keep you stagnant. The truth is, God has already given you every resource, every gift, and every ounce of strength needed to walk in your purpose. When David faced Goliath, King Saul tried to weigh him down with armor that didn't fit. 1 Samuel 17:38-40. But David understood that God had already equipped him with everything he needed. He didn't need extra armor. He just needed to trust the weapons God had placed in his hands, a simple sling and 5 smooth stones. What has God already given you that you might be overlooking? Even in modern times, history shows us that the most successful people had to push past distractions and discouragement to fulfill their purpose. Consider J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before she became a household name, she faced countless rejections, financial struggles, and personal hardships. But she refused to give up, and now look at the impact she has made. Now imagine the impact when faith is placed, not in personal ambition, but in God's divine plan for your life. If she could push past distractions to achieve earthly success, how much more can you accomplish when you walk in God's anointing? Distractions are not the enemy themselves. They are tools the enemy uses to shift your focus. The enemy knows he cannot take away God's promises, so he works tirelessly to make you doubt them instead. But you must stand firm. Stay locked in on the vision God has given you. As Paul said in Philippians 3:14, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Keep your eyes fixed on the goal. Refuse to let anything pull you away from your divine assignment. Right now, you have a choice. Will you allow distractions to steal your focus, or will you rise above them? Will you rise with the confidence that God's plan for you is far greater than any obstacle that lies ahead? Your moment is now. Take the step. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Your breakthrough is not a matter of if, but when. The key to unlocking this next season of blessings is faith in action. In Joshua 6:1-5, God told his people to march around the walls of Jericho, and when they did, the walls came down. In Mark 5:25-34, the woman with the issue of blood pushed through the crowd, touched the hem of Jesus' garment, and was healed. What step of faith is God calling you to take today? Will you move forward, or will you allow hesitation to keep you from receiving what has already been prepared for you? Maybe you feel like you've been waiting forever, like you've prayed and prayed, but nothing has changed. But I promise you, your breakthrough is closer than you realize. God has been working behind the scenes, moving mountains and opening doors you can't even see yet. But just like a key must be turned to unlock a door, your faith must be activated to step into the next season of blessings. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you act, you might miss what God is trying to do right now. Remember, God's promises are not based on human timing. They are rooted in divine purpose. Your role is not to figure out every detail. Your role is to trust the one who holds all the details in his hands. Think about Walt Disney. Before becoming the man behind one of the most successful entertainment empires in history, he was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. He faced countless setbacks and financial failures, but he never let those obstacles define him. He kept moving forward, believing in the vision he had been given. If a man with earthly ambitions could overcome rejection and failure to build something great, how much more can you accomplish when your faith is anchored in the eternal promises of God? Your struggles are not the end of your story. They are simply part of the refining process through which God is preparing you for something far greater. Every trial, every moment of waiting, every challenge is molding you into the person God created you to be. What you see as a setback is often the very thing God is using to position you for your breakthrough. Will you trust that His plan is bigger than your present difficulties? Will you step forward in faith knowing that He is leading you to something greater? The choice is in your hands. Act now or risk delaying what has already been prepared for you. God has not forgotten you. He sees every tear, every sleepless night, and every silent prayer you've whispered when no one else was watching. He knows the weight of your struggles, the depth of your pain, and the battles you've fought just to keep moving forward. But He also knows something far greater, the destiny He has placed within you. You were not created to be defeated. You were not chosen to live in fear or to drown in despair. The greatness within you is not defined by your hardships, but by God's promise over your life. He who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Philippians 1:6. Your breakthrough is not only coming, it will be far greater than the pain you have endured, the trials you have faced. The struggles you've experienced do not cancel out God's calling on your life. His promise for you is still intact, untouched by the enemy's attempts to derail you. Trust in His timing, for His plans are always perfect. Right now you may feel surrounded by obstacles, but those obstacles are nothing compared to the size of your God. The enemy will do everything in his power to make you want to give up. He will whisper lies telling you that you are not good enough, that you failed too many times, or that God has abandoned you. But let me remind you of something powerful. God's promises are unshakable. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24:35. What he has spoken over your life is eternal. Will you choose to believe his truth over the enemy's deception? No matter how many times you stumble, no matter how exhausted you feel, God's word remains unchanged. He is not finished with you yet. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself why you started. Think back to the vision God gave you, to the dreams he placed in your heart. Those dreams are still alive because the one who gave them to you is still moving in your life. The enemy wants you to quit because he knows what's coming if you keep going. But here's the truth. God's plan for you cannot fail. The only way the enemy wins is if you stop believing. This is not the time to give up. Keep pressing forward. Keep declaring God's promises. Keep fighting. Keep trusting. Keep believing. God is walking with you every step of the way. Hold on to his promise no matter how tough the road gets. Look at Joseph. His journey was filled with betrayal, rejection, false accusations, and imprisonment. It seemed like every step forward was followed by 2 steps back. But what the enemy meant for harm, God turned for good. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Genesis 50:20. Your story is not over. Your breakthrough is coming. Keep moving forward in faith. God is with you, and he is faithful to finish the work he has started in you. Chosen one, I want you to hear this clearly. It was the process that elevated Joseph from the pit to the palace. Imagine if he had given up in prison, believing the lie that he had been forgotten. He would have never stepped into his divine purpose. What if the struggles you are facing right now are not barriers, but preparation for something far greater? What if God is using every hardship to shape you for your elevation? Consider the story of Steve Harvey, the famous comedian and television host. Before his success, he lived out of his car for 3 years, struggling just to survive. He faced rejection, failure, and financial ruin, but he held on to his dream and kept pushing forward, believing that his struggles were not the end of his story. Today, his success is undeniable. But what if he had quit when things seemed impossible? Now, think about this. If a man with worldly ambitions could persevere and rise above challenges, how much greater is the reward when you are walking in alignment with God's divine plan? Your journey is not in vain. Every trial you've endured is refining you for something extraordinary. Your path may feel long, and at times it may seem impossible. But remember, Joseph waited years for his promise to be fulfilled. Every moment of hardship was a stepping stone to his destiny. God is doing the same for you. What you see as a delay is actually divine preparation. Your struggles are not a sign that God has abandoned you. They are proof that he is equipping you. Your pain is not punishment. It is positioning. Your trials are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. And your breakthrough is not a distant dream. It is already in motion. Trust the process. Stay faithful. Keep believing even when nothing makes sense. Because what God is doing in your life right now is setting you up for something beyond your wildest imagination. The question is, will you endure the process long enough to see the promise fulfilled? Your elevation is coming. Don't give up now. The waiting season can feel endless. It may seem like you are standing still while the world moves forward, as if your prayers have been forgotten and nothing is changing. But the truth is, God is working in ways beyond your understanding. His hand is moving behind the scenes, aligning things perfectly for your breakthrough. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean God isn't preparing the way. His timing is never off, and his promises never fail. Will you trust him even when the answers are delayed? Waiting is not a punishment, it is a season of preparation. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity for God to refine you, stretch your faith, and build your endurance. Look at Joseph. After receiving a dream from God, he didn't step into his destiny immediately. Instead, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned and forgotten. But in every trial, God was shaping him. When the appointed time arrived, Joseph didn't just step into a blessing. He stepped into leadership over Egypt. Genesis 41:39-41. What if your current season of waiting is the very thing positioning you for something greater? What if the delay is actually God's way of strengthening you for the responsibility that comes with your breakthrough? It is easy to grow weary when nothing seems to change, but God is never late. His perfect timing is always at work, even when it doesn't align with your expectations. When David was anointed king, he didn't immediately take the throne. Instead, he spent years running for his life, facing trials that seemed to contradict God's promise. Yet through it all, God was molding him into a leader, shaping him into the king he was destined to be. 1 Samuel chapter 16-2, Samuel 5. Could it be that your waiting season is not a setback, but a setup for something bigger than you imagined? Think about the life of Nelson Mandela. Before he became a global leader, he spent 27 years in prison, enduring hardship and isolation. Many would have lost hope, but instead of letting the waiting break him, he allowed it to prepare him. When he was finally released, he was not just a free man, he was a man refined, strengthened, and ready to lead a nation. Now imagine what God can do with your waiting season when you surrender it to him. If human endurance can lead to such transformation, how much more can divine preparation lead to something beyond what you can imagine? The wilderness is something we all must walk through at some point in our journey, a time of refining, testing, and transformation. But it is not a place of abandonment, it is a place of preparation. Just as the Israelites wandered through the wilderness before reaching the promised land, you too are being prepared for something greater. Do not despise the process. Trust in the timing of the one who has called you. Your elevation is coming, and it will be worth every moment of waiting. Keep moving forward, keep trusting, and keep believing. God is preparing you for a destiny beyond what you could ever ask or imagine. Chosen one, understand this. The Israelites had to learn complete dependence on God during their wilderness journey. In Deuteronomy chapter 8:2-4, God taught them to trust him for provision, direction, and protection. Likewise, your wilderness season is not a mistake. It is where God is teaching you to trust him completely. When you feel lost, frustrated, or discouraged in the waiting, remind yourself, this wilderness is temporary. It is not where your story ends. It is where your faith is strengthened. Your breakthrough is coming, but it requires preparation. If you received your blessing too soon, would you be ready for it? Would you have the wisdom, endurance, and strength to carry it? God is not withholding your breakthrough. He is ensuring that when it arrives, you are fully equipped to walk in it. It may feel like you've been wandering through this season for too long, but the truth is, you are closer than you realize. Every step you take in faith, even the difficult ones, is bringing you closer to the promise God has spoken over your life. What if today is the day you choose to trust him wholeheartedly, even without visible signs? What if this is the moment where everything shifts because you refuse to give up? Keep pressing forward because your promised land is closer than you think. The wilderness won't last forever, but the blessings that come after will. The wilderness may feel endless, the path uncertain, and the journey exhausting, but the destination is worth every struggle. Do not give up now. Keep moving forward even when the road feels steep and the burden feels heavy. Even when it seems like nothing is shifting, trust that God is working behind the scenes in ways beyond your understanding. He is using this season to refine, strengthen, and prepare you for something far greater than you can imagine. Every step of obedience in the wilderness is bringing you closer to the promise he has declared over your life. Stay strong, remain faithful, and keep moving forward in the power of God. Faith is the key that unlocks your breakthrough, but faith alone is not enough. It must be coupled with persistence. Many people start their journey in faith, but only those who persist through hardship reach the fulfillment of God's promises. Abraham had faith that God would give him a son, but it took years of waiting before Isaac was born. Genesis 21, 1 chapter 3. Noah had faith that God told him to build the ark, but it took persistence to keep building when the world mocked him. Genesis 6, 13 to 22. The road to your breakthrough may be long, but those who trust God and refuse to quit will see rewards far greater than they ever imagined. In the face of challenges, faith will sustain you, but in the face of doubt, persistence will push you through. Think about the woman with the issue of blood. She had been suffering for 12 years, yet she refused to give up. When she heard about Jesus, she didn't just believe, she acted. She pressed through the crowd, determined to touch the hem of his garment, and the moment she did, she was healed. Mark 5:25-34. What if she had given up before taking that final step? What if she had believed the lies, that she was too far gone or that healing wasn't meant for her? Your breakthrough is coming, but will you press through even when it feels impossible? Consider the story of Sylvester Stallone, who struggled for years before achieving success with Rocky. He was rejected by countless film studios, forced to sell his own dog because he couldn't afford food, and nearly lost all hope. But he refused to quit. He held on to his vision, believing that his moment would come. And when it did, it changed his life forever. Now imagine what can happen when your faith is placed, not in a dream of personal success, but in the divine calling God has placed on your life. What doors will open when you refuse to let go of His promises? This is your moment right now. God is calling you to take that final step of faith. Don't allow fear, doubt, or negativity to hold you back from walking into the destiny He has prepared for you. The breakthrough you've been praying for is waiting on the other side of your obedience, just like Peter stepping onto the water. Will you take that step today? Will you press forward, knowing that God is with you every step of the way, guiding you into the promise He has declared for your life? The time is now. The breakthrough is already in motion. Trust Him and move forward. Chosen one, this is your opportunity to trust God beyond what your eyes can see. Lord, if it's you, Peter replied, tell me to come to you on the water. Come, Jesus said. And Peter stepped forward in faith. Matthew 14:28-29. Step forward in faith today, just as Peter did, and watch as God moves in ways beyond your imagination. Your future is waiting. Don't let anything stop you from stepping into the fullness of what God has for you. His promises are certain. His plans for you are greater than you can comprehend. And your breakthrough is just beyond the horizon. Take the step. Trust Him completely and watch your life transform in ways you never thought possible. This is your moment. Will you take it in the midst of your struggles? It's easy to forget the truth about who you are. The world may try to define you by your failures, your past, or the hardships you face. But those things do not determine your worth. You are a child of the Most High, created with divine purpose, anointed for a calling greater than anything you can imagine. God has chosen you, and His hand is upon your life. No matter how difficult your journey has been, your identity in Christ remains unshakable. You were not made to be defeated by your trials. You were made to rise above them. When life tries to convince you that you are not good enough, that your dreams are out of reach, or that your situation is hopeless, remind yourself of who you are in Christ. You are not just another person trying to survive. You are an heir to God's kingdom, clothed in His righteousness and empowered by His Spirit. The enemy will whisper lies, hoping to trap you in fear and despair. But you have the authority to silence him. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. God has already declared victory over your life. and nothing the enemy does can change that. Your struggles may be real, but they do not define you. The world may see challenges, but God sees preparation. Every hardship is shaping you, strengthening you, and refining you for the purpose He has set before you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. His promises are not just for some distant future. They are for you right now. The trials you are facing are not evidence that God has abandoned you. They are proof that He is preparing you for something far greater. Your breakthrough is not merely the end of your struggle. It is the fulfillment of God's promises that have been written over your life since before the foundation of the world. Trust in who God has made you to be and step into the identity He is calling you to walk in. The pain you are enduring is not meaningless. It is a process of transformation. Just as gold is refined in the fire, you are being refined through your trials, molded into the person God destined you to become. Think about Joseph. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. His journey was filled with pain, rejection, and uncertainty. But in the midst of it all, God was preparing him for something greater. When the time was right, Joseph went from the prison to the palace, stepping into his divine calling as the ruler of Egypt. Genesis 41:39-41. His suffering was not wasted. It was the very thing that positioned him for elevation. What if the struggles you are facing now are not meant to break you, but to build you? What if your current trials are setting you up for a future beyond anything you've imagined? Consider the story of Tyler Perry. He faced years of homelessness and rejection before stepping into his purpose. He endured setback after setback, but he never let his struggles define him. He held on to his vision and trusted the process. Today, he stands as one of the most successful figures in the entertainment industry. But imagine if he had given up in his wilderness season, how many lives would have remained untouched? Now think about this. If a man with earthly ambition can rise above adversity, how much greater will your victory be when God Himself is the one guiding your path? If the weight of your current challenges feels overwhelming, take heart. Your struggles are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of something extraordinary. God is refining you. He is preparing you for the breakthrough you have been waiting for. Trust in His timing and step boldly into the divine calling He has placed on your life. Your moment is now. Step forward in faith, knowing that your victory is already secured in the promises of God. The best is yet to come. Chosen one, what you are walking through right now is not meant to destroy you, but to elevate you. God does not waste pain. He uses it to strengthen your faith, deepen your trust, and refine you into the person He created you to be. You are standing at the edge of something magnificent. The only question is, will you trust God enough to step into it? Will you believe that your suffering is not in vain, that your waiting is not wasted, and that your breakthrough is already on its way? Hold on to His promises. Walk in your divine identity and know that what He has prepared for you is greater than anything you can comprehend. Your destiny is waiting. Will you step into it? Your breakthrough is not just about escaping hardship. It is about the transformation that God is bringing forth in you. Every challenge, every delay, and every trial is part of His divine process, shaping you into the person He's destined you to be. It may not feel like it now, but your struggles are not meaningless. They are stepping stones leading you higher. Instead of being discouraged, recognize that your pain is being used for a greater purpose. God has already promised that all things work together for good to those who love Him, to those who are called according to His purpose. Romans chapter 8:28. Even in this very moment, though you may not see it, God is orchestrating every detail of your story to align with His perfect plan. The trials you are facing today are not setbacks. They are preparations for the glory that is to come. Just as gold is refined in the fire, you are being purified, strengthened, and elevated through your struggles. Think about Esther. She was an orphan, taken from her familiar surroundings and placed in a position she never expected, in a time of uncertainty. It may have seemed like she was lost in confusion, but God was positioning her for a divine purpose. When the time came, she had to step forward in faith and risk everything by approaching the king to save her people. And who knows, but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Esther 4:14. What if your current struggles are not obstacles but divine preparations for something far beyond what you can imagine? It is easy to focus on the weight of your struggles, the pain of waiting, and the uncertainty of the future. But in the midst of it all, you must remind yourself that God's promises are greater than any hardship. His word has never failed, and it never will. God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind. Numbers 23:19. What he has spoken over your life will come to pass, no matter how impossible it may seem. The enemy may try to discourage you, to make you feel abandoned and forgotten, but God's promises stand firm. He has not forgotten you, and he never will. You may feel like you've been waiting forever, like your prayers have gone unanswered, but God's timing is never wrong. What if the very delay you are experiencing is God's way of ensuring that when your breakthrough comes, you are fully prepared to handle it? Look at Moses. God gave him a calling, but before leading the Israelites, he spent 40 years in the wilderness being prepared for his destiny. Exodus 3:1-12. David was anointed king as a young man, yet he spent years running from Saul before he could sit on the throne. 1 Samuel 16:13, 2 Samuel 5:3-4. God's promises always come to pass, but they come at the right time, not necessarily our time. Will you trust him enough to wait with faith? Think of the countless heroes of faith: Abraham, Moses, David, who faced trials and impossibilities but never let go of God's promises. They were tested beyond what seemed bearable, yet God's word proved true in the end. Abraham waited 25 years for his promised son, Isaac. Genesis 21:1-3. Moses led an entire nation through trials in the wilderness. David fought battles before he stepped into his kingship. Their stories remind us that the greater the promise, the greater the preparation. If God is making you wait, it is because he is preparing something bigger than you could ever expect. Your pain is temporary, but God's promises are eternal. The struggles you are facing now are not meant to break you, but to refine you for the next level of your destiny. Your breakthrough is not just about relief, it is about the fulfillment of God's purpose in your life. What if the moment you've been waiting for is closer than you think? What if God is waiting for you to trust him fully before he releases what he has prepared for you? Don't let your pain make you forget the greatness of God's promises. Your breakthrough is near, and the glory that awaits you far outweighs the struggles of today. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. The journey is hard, but the destination is worth it. Keep pressing forward, keep trusting. The best is yet to come. Chosen one, hold on to hope. Stand firm in faith and trust that God is about to fulfill every promise he has made to you. The best is yet to come. Will you remain steadfast until it arrives? Waiting is never easy. It's natural to wonder if God has forgotten about you, if he hears your prayers, or if the delay means something has gone wrong. But I want to remind you of a truth that stands firm through all time. God's timing is always perfect. He is never late, never indifferent, and never unfaithful to his promises. What may seem like a delay is not a denial, but divine preparation for the breakthrough he has planned for you. Trust that even when you cannot see it, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events in your favor. He is aligning the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities at the perfect moment. Think about Esther. an orphaned girl who, by the hand of God, was placed in the palace, not knowing that she would one day save her people. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. For years, it may have seemed like her life was taking unexpected detours, but in reality, God was positioning her for a moment of destiny. Could it be that your waiting season is not wasted time, but a divine setup for something greater than you ever imagined? The waiting period is not a time to lose faith. It is a time to strengthen it. God is using this season to mold you, refine your character, and increase your endurance. When you feel weary, remember that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles, Isaiah 40:31. Your waiting is not in vain. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of perseverance is building you into the person God has called you to be. Your breakthrough is not just about the blessing, it is about the preparation that ensures you are ready to handle it. It's easy to focus on how long the wait has been. But what if God is protecting you from something you cannot see? What if the delay is ensuring that when you step into your blessing, you will have the wisdom, strength, and faith to sustain it? Consider David, anointed as king while he was still a shepherd, yet he spent years running from Saul before he finally took the throne. 1 Samuel 16:13, 2 Samuel 5:3-4. The years of waiting were not wasted, they were training. Could it be that God is using your current trials to equip you for the responsibilities that come with your breakthrough? Think about Oprah Winfrey, a woman who faced rejection, setbacks, and hardships before becoming one of the most influential figures in media. She was told she wasn't fit for television, but she didn't allow the delay to define her. She kept pushing forward, believing that something greater was ahead. If she had given up, she would have never stepped into her purpose. Now, imagine how much more powerful your breakthrough will be when your faith is anchored, not in personal ambition, but in the unfailing promises of God. The waiting period is not a time of inactivity. It is a time of divine preparation. God is refining you, testing your faith, and positioning you for His perfect plan. When the timing is right, He will move in your life in ways that will leave you in awe. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Stay firm, stay faithful, and keep trusting. God's perfect timing is unfolding right before you. Chosen one, remember, God's timing is always better than yours, and what He is preparing for you will exceed your expectations. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarries. Wait for it, because it will surely come. Habakkuk 2:3. Do not give up. Now you are closer than you think. In the meantime, trust that God knows exactly what He is doing. He has never failed you before, and He will not start now. His perfect timing is a testimony of His faithfulness to you. Will you hold on to faith long enough to see the promise fulfilled? Your breakthrough is not just on the way, it is already in motion. Hold on, trust Him, and prepare your heart for the incredible things He has in store for you. We often misunderstand the wilderness, seeing it as a punishment when, in reality, it is a place of preparation. Just as the Israelites spent 40 years in the wilderness before entering the promised land, you too are in a season of refining and strengthening. God is using this time to deepen your faith, build your endurance, and prepare you for the blessings He has planned for your future. Though it may feel like a dry and desolate place, the wilderness is not meant to break you. It is meant to make you. The wilderness is not the end of the road. It is the pathway to your destiny. Every obstacle, every delay, and every challenge you face in this season is shaping you for something greater. God is teaching you to trust Him more, to rely on His strength, and to believe in His promises even when the circumstances seem impossible. When Jesus was led into the wilderness, it was not for punishment but for preparation. Before He began His ministry, He spent 40 days fasting and being tested by the enemy. Luke 1:13. Yet through that experience, He emerged in power, ready to fulfill His divine mission. Could it be that your wilderness season is not a sign of abandonment, but a setup for your breakthrough? If you are feeling weary, take heart. God has not left you in this place alone. In fact, He is closer to you now than ever before. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. The lessons you are learning in this season will prepare you for the greater responsibility and purpose that awaits you. Just as the Israelites learned to depend on God for manna, water, and direction, what is God teaching you to rely on Him for? What if the very thing you are struggling with today is the very thing God is strengthening within you for the future? The wilderness may feel like a barren desert, but in reality, it is fertile ground where your faith and trust in God will grow. When seeds are planted, they do not immediately sprout. They must first be buried beneath the soil unseen while their roots develop. Just because you cannot yet see the fruit of your labor does not mean God is not working beneath the surface. Stay faithful. Keep moving forward. Trust that God is preparing you for a future filled with blessings and purpose. Your pain is not meaningless. It has a purpose. It is difficult to see it now, but every struggle, every setback, and every disappointment is playing a role in God's greater plan for your life. Just as gold is refined in the fire, you are being refined through your trials. The heat of the process may feel unbearable, but it is producing something invaluable within you. Strength, wisdom, endurance, and a deeper connection with God. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:2-3. Could it be that what you are enduring now is building the very perseverance you will need in your next season? Think about Steve Jobs, the visionary behind Apple. Before reaching global success, he was fired from his own company, rejected and forced to start over. But instead of giving up, he used that season of setback as a time of growth and refinement. Years later, he returned to Apple and led it to become one of the most influential companies in the world. If an earthly vision could push someone to persevere through hardship, how much more should you, as a child of God, trust the divine process that is preparing you for something beyond what you can imagine? When Ruth lost her husband and left behind everything she knew, she had no idea what was ahead. She chose to follow Naomi, not because she saw an immediate reward, but because she trusted in something greater. Ruth's obedience in the wilderness led her to a life-changing breakthrough, a legacy she could never have imagined. Trust in the process. Keep moving forward with faith. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, and the purpose behind your journey is greater than you could ever have envisioned. The wilderness is not where your story ends. It is where your destiny begins. Chosen one. Think about Ruth. She entered a season of uncertainty, but God was working behind the scenes. In her obedience, she found favor, and in due time she was positioned to be part of the lineage of Jesus Christ. Ruth chapter 4, 13-17. Could it be that the losses, changes, or challenges you are facing now are not the end of your story, but the setup for a divine appointment beyond your wildest dreams? Your suffering is not wasted. It is part of God's perfect plan for your growth. Do not let pain define you. Let it refine you. Every season of hardship is a season of preparation. The struggles you are facing today will not last forever, but the lessons they teach you will. God is preparing you for something greater than you can comprehend. Will you trust Him enough to endure the process? Keep pressing forward, knowing that the trials of today are shaping you for the victory of tomorrow. Your promised land is ahead. Don't stop now. Your breakthrough is closer than you realize, and when it arrives, it will be worth every moment of struggle. Every challenge, every hardship, and every delay has been part of the refining process. preparing you for what God has in store. Perseverance is the key to unlocking the victory that has already been written in God's plan for your life. No matter how difficult the road has been, if you refuse to give up, you will see the hand of God move in ways beyond your imagination. The journey may be long and filled with obstacles, but God's word assures us that those who persevere in faith will see victory. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. The enemy thrives on discouragement, using setbacks to make you question whether your breakthrough will ever come. But remember, even setbacks are setups for something greater. Keep pressing forward, for your victory is already secured in God's promise. The Apostle Paul reminds us that we are more than conquerors through Him who loves us. Romans 8:37. The power of perseverance lies in the understanding that no matter how many times we stumble, God is always there to lift us up. David, before becoming king, faced relentless battles and spent years running from Saul. At times, it must have seemed like the promise over his life would never come to pass. Yet he never stopped trusting in God's plan, and at the appointed time, he stepped into his destiny. What if your moment of elevation is just ahead? What if the very thing you've been praying for is only one more step of faith away? Hold on to your faith, because victory is coming, and when it does, it will be sweeter because of the trials you endured. Every act of perseverance is a declaration of trust in God's promises. With each step forward, you are moving closer to what He has already prepared for you. The enemy wants you to believe that it's too late, that you've missed your chance, or that God has forgotten you. But those are lies. God is not a man that He should lie. Numbers 23:19. If He has spoken it over your life, it will come to pass. Think about Walt Disney, a man who was fired from his first job because he was told he lacked creativity. He faced rejection after rejection, and at one point he was so broke he could barely afford food, but he refused to give up, holding on to his vision until it finally came to fruition. If persistence in an earthly dream can lead to such success, how much more powerful is persistence when God is the one who has called you? If Disney had stopped believing in his vision, the world would have never known his legacy. Now imagine the legacy you will leave when you persevere in faith and trust in the divine plan God has set before you. Look at Hannah in the Bible. She waited for years, praying and believing for a child while enduring ridicule and heartbreak. 1 Samuel chapter 1:6-20. In her pain, she never lost faith. And when her breakthrough came, she didn't just receive a child, she gave birth to Samuel, one of the greatest prophets in Israel's history. Could it be that the waiting and trials you are enduring now are setting you up for something far greater than what you originally prayed for? The breakthrough you've been waiting for is not as far off as it seems. God has been working behind the scenes, aligning everything in place. You may not see it yet, but He is orchestrating the details of your life with precision and purpose. Every prayer you've prayed, every tear you've cried, and every moment you've held on in faith has been leading you to this moment. This is not the time to give up. It's not in your timing, but in God's perfect timing. And when it comes, it will be beyond anything you could have imagined. Keep pressing forward, keep believing, and keep trusting, because your breakthrough is just around the corner. And when it arrives, you will see that it was worth every moment of waiting. Chosen one, will you remain steadfast until the promise is fulfilled? The challenges you are facing right now are nothing compared to the greatness that God has planned for you. The path may be filled with difficulties, but it is leading you to a place of divine elevation. What seems like a struggle today is actually part of the preparation for the destiny God has set before you. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. No matter what you're going through, know this: God's plan for your life is unstoppable. The journey to elevation often includes seasons of trials, but they are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to strengthen you. Think about Daniel. He remained faithful to God even when he was thrown into the lion's den. The situation looked hopeless, but in the end, God not only saved him, but also elevated him to a position of influence in the kingdom. Daniel 16-28. What if your current challenges are simply setting the stage for your promotion? What if the difficulties you face today are positioning you for greater impact and favor? Elevation doesn't come without challenges, but it comes with divine favor and blessing. God is preparing you for influence, for impact, and for doors to open that no man can shut. The key is to keep pressing forward. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. 1 Peter 5:6. Your breakthrough is coming, and it'll be greater than you ever imagined. God's promises over your life are sure, and his timing is perfect. Keep believing, keep praying, and keep walking in faith. Your elevation is closer than you think. The process is never easy, but it is always necessary. Right now, you may feel like you are stuck in the middle of a story that is full of struggle, but let me remind you, your story is far from over. God is still writing the next chapters of your life, and he is working everything out for your good. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. What you are going through is not the end. It is the preparation for the next chapter, and the best is yet to come. Just as a seed must break open in the soil before it grows into something beautiful, you too are going through a process that is breaking open old things to make way for new growth. If a seed could speak, it might ask, "Why am I buried in darkness? Why is this precious so great?" But what seems like a burial is actually the beginning of something new. What if your current struggles are not signs of your failure, but the very evidence that God is about to bring forth something greater? Consider the life of Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. He grew up in a poor family and faced rejection. When he tried to introduce his vision of a coffeehouse experience in America, he was turned down by multiple investors. At one point, he doubted whether his dream would ever come to pass, but he didn't quit. He stayed persistent, kept pushing forward, and eventually, his vision became a reality, impacting millions worldwide. If human perseverance can lead to such transformation, imagine what can happen when your faith is in God's divine plan. What doors will open when you refuse to let go of the promises God has spoken over your life? Even when things seem uncertain, trust that God is working behind the scenes. His plan for your life is perfect, and your breakthrough is on the way. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. Every challenge, every setback, and every tear is part of a greater story that God is unfolding. Hold fast to his promises and walk in faith, knowing that the breakthrough he has prepared for you is worth every trial you have endured. Keep pressing forward. Your divine elevation is coming, and it will be worth the journey. Chosen one, God's process may be hard, but it is always purposeful. Every delay is strategic. Every hardship is refining you, and every closed door is leading you to the right one. Keep trusting in him. Keep pressing forward and watch as he brings you into a season of breakthrough and elevation. The best is yet to come. Will you hold on long enough to see it? As we reach the end of this powerful message, I urge you to take a moment to reflect on what you've heard today. The call from God is clear and unwavering. It's time for you to make a choice to take action. You stand at a crossroads, and the path before you is not one to walk passively. God has already given you everything you need to succeed. But now he is waiting for you to take that final step in faith and obedience. This is the moment where your destiny aligns with his plan. It's not a time for hesitation or delay, just as the Bible teaches us in James chapter 2:26. Faith without works is dead. You have been chosen, and God is waiting for you to respond. The time to act is now, for he is always with you. empowering you to move forward and step into the fullness of your purpose. Will you take the leap? Will you trust that He has already gone ahead of you, making a way where there seems to be no way? If today's message has touched your heart, I would like to ask you to support this ministry and help us spread the word. You can do so by using the Super Thanks feature to donate. Your contribution, no matter the size, makes a huge difference in continuing to share messages like this one. But whether you donate or not, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you for being a part of this community. Your presence, your support, and your engagement are what keep this work alive. Also, don't forget to like this video if it resonated with you. Subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content and share this video with others who might need to hear it. Your likes, shares, and comments help us reach even more people with the message of God's love and purpose. We are all in this together, walking in His light, and your voice is just as important as anyone else's. I encourage you to leave a comment below and let us know how this message has impacted you. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or your prayer requests. We are here to pray with you. And finally, may God's blessings continue to overflow in your life as you walk boldly in the calling He has placed on you. He is waiting for you to take the final step. Stay blessed, remain faithful, and remember, God is always with you, guiding you every step of the way.